Hello, everyone. My name is Gabby, and yeah, I bet you're thinking, yeah, it has kind of been a long time since you guys have probably last seen me go and talk to you in front of the webcam to talk about videos and stuff. God, it's actually been so long. I feel like I've almost forgotten how to talk to people. And of course, the reason I'm here is it's because Dragon Ball Z Abridged is finished, or at least for, the time being for quite a while. For the foreseeable plans for the future of Team 4 Star, they're basically saying Dragon Ball Z Abridged is done. And, it's kind of like I am the Dragon Ball Z Abridged person. I got popular from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I feel like I need to actually say something at the very least, now that this is like an immediate reaction thing, and everyone, of course, is giving their own opinions about it and whatnot, I feel like I have to say something as well to kind of update everybody on Dragon Ball Z Abridged, my thoughts, my channel, and just everything. Because also, I know that some of the people who actually work on Dragon Ball Z Abridged are also subscribed to me and sometimes watch my videos as well, so it's kind of like a sort of indirect direct communication to Team 4 Star and to my fan base and to people who watch my videos for Dragon Ball Z Abridged reactions and whatnot. Because honestly, I guess a channel update is sort of overdue for everyone. For Team 4 Star, for me, for life. I've got no idea. Let's just go around and start talking about things. I bet probably the first obvious question is, oh, what do you think about the fact that Dragon Ball Z Abridged is ending? And my answer is, well, honestly, a little bit different to what I would have expected my answer was going to be a few years ago. I mean, I'm kind of disappointed. I'm a bit sort of like, oh man, that's sad. It's the end of an era. I feel kind of sad that I don't have any more Dragon Ball Z Abridged to look forward to. But I'm also not too surprised, and I'm also not like too upset about it. The fact of the matter is, over the last few years, I wouldn't say I've fallen out of love with Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I still really enjoy it, but I'm not nearly as much of a hardcore, I'm gonna go and follow every single thing that they do and every single update to Dragon Ball Z Abridged and watch every episode about 500 times. I don't really do that anymore. And I don't know if that's necessarily because I've changed or because Abridged has changed or because the landscape around everything has changed or YouTube has changed or, I've got no idea. Things change, I change, you change, we all change. Obviously, a lot of the people who subscribed to me a few years ago, maybe you guys have probably changed your opinions on what you would want from me as well. Change is an inevitable part of life, and it's also kind of terrifying. I don't know if I'm actually completely used to it yet. I think it's something that I'm trying to work on myself with my own, personal development of trying to be better as a person, But it happens. I knew this day was going to come, and the fact is, I'm fine with it ending the way it did. First of all, there's nothing really in the Boo Saga where I'm just like, oh man, I need to see this abridged, like, right now, right this instant. I mean, I definitely love a lot of the Great Saiyaman parts of the story at the beginning of the Boo Saga, but, like, that's kind of comedic anyway. It's not really something where I need to see it abridged, The complete truth is, the reason why I kind of created my YouTube channel in the first place, the reason why I kept making more reaction videos and more videos towards Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Abridged, was because one day I wanted to record my reaction, my first blind reaction, for the moment where they did Gohan vs. Cell and Gohan turned Super Saiyan 2, and they were going to play some kind of variation of Unmei no Hi as the music, because, like, I was, like, 90% sure that's what they were going to do, because Kaiser is a big fan of the Japanese version, and it's that one thing where it's, like, this cool insert song that's only in the Japanese version, it's not in dub, the people who watch the dub don't necessarily all know about it, so Dragon Ball Z Abridged often does do that, being like, hey, look at this alternative thing that you wouldn't have known if you had just watched it on Toonami. So, I was, like, totally sure that that's what they were going to do, and I basically, I did a video about this, literally when I started out YouTube. Don't watch it, it's terrible. Early me is terrible because I don't know how to edit things, so I'm just sitting around and wondering and making lots of ums and ahs, and there's lots of just really bad pauses that I just don't remove. But basically, in that early video, I pretty much say, the reason why I got into Dragon Ball Z was because of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, but the reason why I really connected to Dragon Ball Z, sometimes it's just that one thing, and you're like, man, I really liked that thing, and because I really liked that thing, I'm going to consume the entire story, even if I don't necessarily like everything else as much as that one thing. And for me, that one thing was Gohan vs. Cell, and also the Japanese version with Unmei no Hi, because it's an insert song, and I love insert song moments, and I love insert song moments played at a big dramatic point where like a character goes and learns to like face their fears and not give up and believe in themselves. It's like, that's just one of my things. I've realized that. And when I watched it, or at least after a while and I watched it and had to think about it, I realized it really emotionally resonated with me, and that's why I pretty much decided I'm gonna keep watching Dragon Ball and consume Dragon Ball, because that really got to me, and clearly it's doing something right if it could get to me. And essentially, because Dragon Ball Z Abridged was this other thing that I really enjoyed, I knew that when Abridged did it, that was going to be like amazing and the best thing ever, and it's like the culmination of all of my favorite things rolled into one. And yeah, the fact is that happened. It was episode 60. It didn't necessarily go around and set my world on fire. I didn't like fully break down sobbing, although I think I did kind of cry a little bit, but like not that much, because, well, I mean, let's put it this way. If you're going to go and make your own channel just for the sake of an anticipation of a reaction for something that's going to happen in a few years' time, you can't exactly predict who you're going to be at that point in time. You can't predict how you're going to react at that point in time. The fact is, you are going to change between when you start your YouTube channel, when you start this one idea, and when you keep going and life changes and you change and other people change, and the environment, the videos themselves that you're watching change, because the people who are creating them also change. Like I said, Dragon Ball Z Abridged was always changing, and with season 3, I feel like, they pretty much gave it all that they could possibly give, with all the kind of crazy, flashy Dragon Ball Z Abridged exclusive ideas that only they would really do. I think it was a really satisfactory conclusion, and for me personally, yeah, if Dragon Ball Z Abridged had ended there, I was perfectly fine with it. Because in a way, the end of the Cell Saga was essentially the thing I was looking forward to the most in all of Dragon Ball Z Abridged. When I started my reactions, I would always start off with, here's the things I'm looking forward to. When I was saying that, I really just meant the things I'm looking forward to are Gohan vs. Cell, and also everything else as well. This video might seem a little bit weird. I mean, considering that this is supposed to be a video talking about the end of Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and then here I am just talking a lot about myself. You might think that's a little bit narcissistic or something, but I mean, I guess in a way, that's essentially what my channel has been, or at least what reaction videos are. Like, that's essentially the essence of the reaction video. You're taking something, or you're at least looking at something that somebody else created, and you're making it all about yourself. Because the focus isn't on the video, the focus is on you, and how you react to the video, and how it affects you, and how it relates to you. Like, in a way, this is kind of the most on-brand thing that I could possibly do. Have a vlog where I talk about Dragon Ball Z Abridged, but I really just talk about my thoughts about it and how it affected me and how it relates to my channel and myself. This being said, though, I guess I should say one proper actual reaction response thing that I need to say. For all the people who are going around and complaining or saying they're going to boycott Team 4-Star, or they're going to unsubscribe now, or man, you did such a stupid thing, how dare you do that, you owe us more Dragon Ball Z Abridged, yada yada yada. Just shut up. Actually, just shut up. Number one, they don't owe you anything. You don't have to pay for them. Even if you're a Patreon supporter of them, they have said time and time again, this has got nothing to do with Dragon Ball Z Abridged. The Patreon's got to do with everything that's not Dragon Ball Z Abridged, because legally we can't actually say we're using that money to make a fan-based parody that's like kind of under fair use but kind of not, and was always non-profit to begin with. And second of all, do you understand how entitled that is? Do you not realize that the people who are working on this internet parody of Dragon Ball Z have their own lives and thoughts and feelings, and probably deserve to be respected and have their feelings be validated and say that's okay? I mean, why would you want to just go and force people to do things that they don't want to do just for the sake of your own happiness? I think if you're given the option of someone doing what they want to do and something that you get enjoyment out of, and there's no like real consequences to it all because it's just an internet parody, Yeah, I say let everybody be happy. Too many people in this world are not happy. I think we should let Team 4 Star do the things that they actually want to do nowadays. And third of all, yeah, the copyright thing is still actually a very big deal. Even though they can make very good arguments that Dragon Ball Z Abridged goes under fair use and it is totally valid to do, fact is, Toei has not liked them, and they have never liked them, and they have always tried to shut down Dragon Ball Z Abridged in one way or the other. I'm pretty sure there's no direct contact between someone at Toei who is like, I understand what DBZA is, and we are not going to do anything about it, and Team 4 Star. It is kind of a bit of a weird thing with a bunch of miscommunication and some kind of drama, and there is a long story behind it, I'm pretty sure, and I don't exactly know details, but it is not just as clear cut as they can just call Toei one day and say, hey, can you stop copyright striking us? And then they'll say, okay, sure, cool, that's fine. It's complicated. And the fact is, Team 4 Star are an actual studio. They have people who they are employing. They have jobs there. And I don't think it's worth jeopardizing all of that just for the sake of a bunch of parody videos that some people like. I bet some people are responding with, why don't they just go back to their day jobs? Give up all of this, just go back to their day jobs and keep doing this as a part-time hobby thing, so then it's not really as much of a big deal if it all gets taken down. And to that I need to say, if you think that was a good idea, you probably should have told them that 3 years ago or more. However long ago they started really setting up this idea to be kind of self-sustaining in their own independent studio. Years ago. We have gone past the point of no return of everybody just going back to a few years in time and pretending like nothing ever happened and nothing changed and they don't have any more responsibilities that they already do. See, that's the thing. If we bring it back to myself, it's like the idea that people who want more Dragon Ball Z Abridged are the same people who just kind of want to turn back the clock and go back a few years ago where everything was fine and simpler, at least in your opinion. I was just going around and making reaction videos and doing weekly Dragon Ball Super reviews, and everything was fine and normal, and there was obviously totally no conflict at all because I don't remember that because of nostalgia. And basically just denying the fact that time moves forward, people move on, and things change. I am most definitely not the same person who started my YouTube channel in 2015. I graduated from university with my last year being 8 months of pretty intense everyday work. I then spent a year unemployed, having to deal with a whole bunch of family issues and family medical issues, and just kind of feeling sorry for myself until I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and a full-time job kind of fell into my lap. I have definitely changed a lot in the past few years, and that's probably one of the reasons as to why I haven't really been making as many YouTube videos. My life is different from when I was just a university student who was going around and making videos talking about how much she likes Dragon Ball in her spare time because she felt no one else was really doing it the exact way that she did it. And like the people who want more Dragon Ball Z Abridged, I really do wish sometimes that I could go back a few years in time, go back to where everything seems like it was simpler and maybe more fun, and in some ways I felt like my attitude was more positive than it was now, but the fact is that's impossible. You can't turn back time, and the fact is, even if I could somehow transport myself back in time, it wouldn't just make me forget everything that I've learned in the past few years. I wouldn't actually give all that up. I don't really know who I am right now, but I'm not going to just give that up. And in the same way, the people who made your anime parody, they've changed, things have changed in their lives, and they're not just going to give up all of that progress just for the sake of pleasing some people from the internet from 2014. In 2014, the thing for me that gave me all this fulfillment was Gohan vs. Cell, and that idea that even if you feel like you're not good enough, you've got that hidden power inside of you, and if you just believe in yourself, then you'll be able to accomplish anything. And similarly, 5 years later in 2019, I think I could say my new big thing, ended up being the ending to Super Danganronpa 2. Danganronpa is my new obsession now. Not to say I'm just gonna stop being a Dragon Ball YouTuber and start making videos about Danganronpa. That'd be cool, but even then, when I tried to make videos about Pretty Cure, they lasted about 11 weeks, and then I kind of didn't continue the motivation to keep doing it every week and whatnot. But what I'm trying to say is this was all just a metaphor, to show that after 5 years, people can change, and things that you thought you really liked don't stop being liked, but then they're also eclipsed by other things that feel more relevant to you, and yeah, people change. It's the tide of time. I was trying to make some big fancy metaphor. I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to say. DBZA is over. This channel has also changed a lot, and that's fine. We all change and it's fine. But yeah, I guess this is the point. I probably should stop talking about myself, and I guess I should start directly talking to Team 4-Star, and that is, hey, Team 4-Star, obviously, thanks a lot for doing this. I know for you guys, sometimes it might not necessarily seem like it was such a big deal. It was just something you made because you enjoyed it. But the fact is, and you guys know it's true, that that thing that you made that people enjoyed, so many people enjoyed it. And it obviously changed everybody's lives, everybody who watched it. Not necessarily all in a big way. It's more like kind of butterfly effect way. If everybody hadn't seen Dragon Ball Z Abridged, they would be poorer people for not being able to see it. But for me, for Dragon Ball Z Abridged, the fact that you guys made it made me who I am today. And it made every single video on the channel indirectly. Just because of the fact that this piece of content that you did exists and I really liked it. So, don't feel too bad about it. Coming from me, a hardcore Dragon Ball Z Abridged fangirl, I am okay with it ending. I understand what you did, and I really liked episode 60 and all the stuff that you do. And I am actually looking forward to some of the other stuff that you are planning to do anyway. Team 4-Star content outside of Dragon Ball Z Abridged has always been that kind of thing where I said, I'll get to it eventually because I'm sure I'll like it, but I'll get to it eventually. And I am interested in seeing what they do because, in some ways I do feel like their writing style and the stuff that they like is quite similar sometimes to the stuff that I like. I mean, I feel like there's a reason as to why sometimes I could quote what was going to happen in Dragon Ball Z Abridged before they actually said the line. And it wasn't because I'm actually psychic. So thank you everyone who helped contribute to Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and also thank you to everybody who watches my channel, even the ones who have stuck through these months of, hey, does Gabby actually remember that she has a YouTube channel anymore? Does she actually use it? Is she gonna use it for something? Situations change, and I was never doing this as a career anyway. I was doing videos when I wanted to make videos, and I guess I wanted to make this video, so I did it. I wish I could leave this off with some kind of call to action or some kind of, here's a specific thing that I'm doing that specific video that's coming up that you guys should look forward to. But I don't really. The only thing that I was sort of planning to do is I've been streaming Danganronpa. I've been streaming it on Twitch. I don't want to be a professional Twitch streamer or whatever. It's just more like I wanted to do videos about Danganronpa because that's my new thing that I'm really into, and I can't exactly explain why I'm into it, just that I really like it. But it's been more difficult than I thought actually scripting something in a sort of video format. Maybe just because I don't know as much. I don't know. I could give you theories, but we're not here to talk about that. But I've basically just been live streaming that game, me playing that game, at least the first two. I've been streaming that to kind of hopefully sort of get it out of my system, or at least sort of put in my thoughts together and sort of be able to focus on things that I could understand well enough to make a video about it. And obviously, yeah, the guys who are going to be here for Dragon Ball Z stuff, you're probably maybe not interested, but whatever. There is no real new Dragon Ball content that I am interested in that's coming out right now. All there is the Dragon Ball Super manga, which I'm not really the biggest fan of. Like, I don't hate it with every fiber of my being, but I think it's just not really that interesting to me. And the Super Dragon Ball Heroes promo anime? In all honesty, that shouldn't even really count as something worth looking at. It's literally just a commercial. So Dragon Ball's a bit dead right now, so I've been doing Danganronpa stuff, and probably won't be doing that many reaction videos just because I feel like I'm not really, I've sort of moved beyond reactions in some ways. I want to record those reactions, but I also really just enjoy just trying to figure out things that I really enjoy, why I enjoy them, and trying to communicate that to everybody else. Even if you don't get it, even if you disagree, I really do like talking to you guys over the internet to explain this stuff. I do like making videos. I just have low motivation and life issues and things. But yeah, I mean, I hope you guys do enjoy whatever content any of us create in the future, be it Team 4-Star or me or heck, anybody else you follow who creates something for a living. Just remember, we're all human and we all change, and change is fine because you can't undo it, because you can't travel through time. That is physically impossible. I mean, there's all of those stories that are about time travel, and maybe you can talk about those, but we can't change the past. Things happen, and we're all just gonna have to deal with it. So everyone, have fun, have a good day, have a good night, have a good whenever on earth you're watching this, and I hope everyone's happy. Thank you, Team 4-Star, and thank you all of you. Thank you everyone who is watching, just for being there. So this is Gabby, signing out, and goodbye guys.